Alright, so I'm doing the semi-final install of this thing. It still needs the heat resistant padding, which is on its way, so I'll put that on there eventually. But I'm gonna put everything in right now. I'm also looking, and maybe I might need something to hold it in place so this thing is not rattling around, so I'll probably make a bracket for it later. um, but this is gonna go in. The bottom part, of course, is just gonna go attached to the turbo inlet pipe like normal. The top is going to be attached with one of these to that, and that is going to route back here into the stock hole where usually the stock intake box gets air from. So I'm gonna set it all up, put it all together, and then I'll show a little video after it's done so you guys can see it. Alright, so it is done, but it is far from perfect. Something that I didn't calculate for, or I did, or I miscalculated. It looks like my cone filter, my generic Spectre cone filter, is too big, it's too long, so the lid is having trouble staying closed. So it looks like I'm probably gonna have to order a new cone filter, something smaller than 6 inches, just to make everything fit in there. The lid closes, but it has like that weird gap, so it's not like a full close. So I want it to be kind of flush, so I'll probably order a new filter tonight. But in the meantime, while that's on its way, that's how that looks. I kind of want it to be more parallel to the engine, just have, you know, a parallel line, but so far so good. I do have to clean up some of those lines over there because they're really not necessary, because all that stuff is deleted anyways, but for right now it looks good. Alright, so I really wasn't digging how the wrap was turning out on the bottle. There was too many bubbles on it. It didn't look as clean as I envisioned it, and I saw it in my head. So I painted it, and I painted it like this. Looks like a two-tone between like green and blue. I don't know. I went to Advanced Auto Parts, and I bought this like metallic looking green and then this bluish looking metallic color, both Ford colors, and I just mixed them together, and it looks okay. I'm not tripping about how the color came out. It looks way better than having, you know, the wrap that was already starting to peel. So the one thing that I did salvage from the wrap was the logo. So I'm gonna put this logo. I'm gonna trim up the circle and I'm gonna put it over here. But I still need to add gold paint to that. But yeah, I painted it. Looks good. Plus, it's kind of blue, and I have like blue trim pieces on the inside of the car, and you know the links for the intercooler piping is all blue and stuff. So it'll match a little bit better if it's blue, like a bluish green. But I'm gonna let this paint dry, and then I'm gonna apply the sticker. I'm probably gonna have to make another one. I'm gonna try to make this one work, but I'm probably gonna have to make another one. And yeah, man. So far, so good. Well, guys, I had a little bit of a boo-boo, or a big boo-boo. I was about to mask off the keg so I could put some gold lines on there. I wanted to put 2 gold stripes going around the whole keg, and I went to reposition the tape, and as you can probably already see in the frame of the camera, when I went and tried to peel off the painter's tape came and took everything with it. So my first magnificent paint job didn't adhere too well onto the aluminum can, and of course, you know, it didn't because one, I didn't scuff up the surface of the can, or, you know, prep the surface. I just started painting. So, you know, it's my mistake. You know, I messed up. But this is just V1, and in the future we'll do better. You know, we'll know that if we're gonna paint this custom, we have to scuff up the edges. You know, do it right. So I went and the second mistake was not cleaning up and re-scuffing the areas that had been ripped off, and then the old paint and the new paint started not liking each other and bubbling, and just that's wow, just hard reactions to each other. Just they did not like each other whatsoever. I'm thinking of just letting it dry and lightly sanding it down and then hitting it with the little bit of paint that I have left. So I'm probably gonna do that. I should have just scuffed it. Everything in my head that I need to know, I need to do, I haven't done for this. And I want the end result to be somewhat presentable. So I'm gonna let this dry. I'm gonna give it like half an hour to dry, and then I'm gonna hit it with some sandpaper, like some 1000 grit or 2000 grit, and scuff it up and try to smooth out these bumps as much as I can. And then after I do that and I repaint it, I'm gonna hit all those edges too, so you can't see that rip. Then I'm gonna hit it with some clear coat and see if that will protect this, so it won't happen again. So we'll see. If not, I'm just running. I mean, it's gonna be in the heat. It's gonna be right next to the turbo manifold. So I didn't want it to be perfect, but I wanted it to be presentable. Maybe for V2 I'll shoot for perfect, but for this first version we're just gonna shoot for working. Also, this cancels all the noise. I ran it today at work and I could not hear my diverter valve going off at all. So this almost does the same thing as the stock airbox. It cancels out any diverter valve sounds. You can barely hear the turbo. I mean, for my family who complained about, you know, me making fake blow-off noises every time I pulled up or I was at his house, they're ecstatic. But for the people that want to hear those turbo noises, of course, this is probably not going to be the best route. But at least the engine bay is going to look somewhat cool. So I'm going to let this dry. It looks like it's kind of dry, but I want to make sure before I start scuffing it so I don't mess this up even more than I've already messed this up, because it can get worse if I just start attacking it now. And then I'll hit it with what's left over of the paint, and then I'll hit it with some clear coat. Alright, with the little bit of paint that I left, I'm just starting all over. I'm just going to scuff the surface. I'm going to primer it, wait for the primer to dry, and then I'm going to paint it, and then I'm going to clear coat it. I'm just going to do it from the beginning, just doing it kind of the right way. Of course, it's not going to be a perfect scuff, but I'm just going to get it at least a little scuff so the primer can hold on to it, and then I'm going to paint it. That's what I should have done from the beginning. I wasn't thinking straight, man. And how do I know I wasn't thinking right from the beginning? I just peeled a little bit of the paint. It was kind of dry, and it came off like if it was plasti dip. So the surface was just way too smooth. So I'm gonna keep scuffing this a little bit more. All right, we got a nice little primer on there. Gonna let that dry. That dries super quick. Use that primer before. I use that primer to paint the rocker panels on the car to that beautiful Audi silver. So gonna use that same primer for this. It's already drying. It's already almost done drying. Just gonna give this 20 minutes. Let this dry fully. Set that down. This is dry. The lid is dry after I hit it with the clear coat. So that is gorgeous. I'm just gonna hope that when I peel this tape off, it's not gonna rip up the whole thing. So stay tuned for that. Alright guys, finally let some of this paint dry. The stickers on here lopsided. I was trying to apply the sticker, and when I was unapplying it, it started to rip the paint again, so I just laid it down. Paint job came out better than the first time with the primer and the clear coat. Again, if I peel that sticker off and try to reposition it, it's gonna peel that paint off. So it's staying there for now. It's just gonna be that way. When I make another one, you know, now I know exactly what I have to do. I have to rough up the surface really bad just to get a good grip on there, because it started peeling off in that corner right there, and I just left it. The sticker's gonna be lopsided. It'll be like that it's not gonna be evenly right in the center between the 2 points. So it's fine. I'm not really tripping about that. But the color looks really good. It's like a bluish greenish color. The lid got more of that blue, so the lid is more of a bluish color because I had more of that blue spray paint. But that is the final version of that. I'll have some more video tomorrow of it in the car and running. Like I said earlier in the video, this thing quiets the car down a lot. So all the diverter valve noise and all that stuff of it recirculating, you can't even hear it, just like if it had the stock airbox. So just wanted to show you guys right before I put it all together, and then I'm gonna put it in the car tonight, and then tomorrow I'll show another video of the car running with it. And I still have to do the venting. I have the material right there, not the material, the hose. I just have to figure out how I'm gonna route it, because right now there's almost no room in there, so the routing is kind of difficult. It's probably gonna have to go underneath this, but we'll figure that out tomorrow. I finished the Mini Keg Intake. My uncle approves. Does he approve? Approved. Master Guild Tech Angel approves. He approves. He says it looks good. I think it looks good. I still need a vent to get to fresh air. I need to pipe it somewhere. But it's looking dope. Let me know what you guys think. This is just the first step on cleaning up the engine bay. I thought I would start off by just finally doing something for the intake, because I've been wanting to do something for the intake for a long time. So this is the first step in cleaning up the engine bay and then going full big turbo. So Mini Keg Intake. Once the heat, the heat padding comes in the mail, I'm gonna put the heat padding inside, and then I'll put some numbers on the screen to see if there's any, you know, temperature changes, any IAT differences, and I'll let you guys know. But this is gonna end this little build series. You guys let me know what you think.